Okay, well, welcome to our fourth of four sessions on self-management. And today we'll be talking about self-care, reducing stress and avoiding burnout. And so what we're going to do first is just kind of really go over some review from our last three sessions and then get into some techniques that you can use, and also really delve into what is stress versus burnout. And so you can take some time to reflect on kind of where you're at right now, where you've been. Have you ever been to the point of burnout? Do you know someone? And it's a really good chance to just really kind of sit with it and be in the moment. And then we'll go through some different techniques that you can use to really help yourself with some stress management techniques. So of course, what we've been talking about since the beginning over these last four sessions is stress. And what is stress? And it's just the brain's response to any demand. And so we really want to look at and reflect on our own attitude towards stress, because stress is not necessarily a bad thing. Stress can tell us what we really care about. It can help us really figure out how to care for ourselves in the best way. And we do know that stress can be a very positive thing. So it's basically the brain's response to any demand and feelings of tension and strain. And anything and, different things can trigger our stress response. It just depends on the person. And, even we've experienced a lot of change over the last year, and having some answers and then maybe not having answers. And so that can be really tough and can even compound the stress that we may already be feeling. And stress can be positive or negative, like I mentioned. Like, we wouldn't really even get out of bed if we didn't have any stress. So it can be motivating at the same time. And it can also be real and perceived. So real stress is something that's happening to you right now for survival, like a deer jumps out in front of your car and you don't even have to think about it. Your body automatically does what it needs to do, presses on the brake to stay safe and stay alive. And perceived, that's a very, very real. It could be a thought that comes into our mind where, the stress is long gone, but we can imagine that we are just about to hit that deer again. It's kind of that post-traumatic stress that can happen, and we have the same body the same body reaction where we get that cortisol released, even though the stress is long gone, and a thought can trigger that stress response. So knowing what stress is very important, and knowing how it affects you is also very important, because stress can be acute or it can be chronic. So chronic is that long-term stress where you're feeling it every day, and then acute is just that, that sudden stressor. It happened, you take a deep breath and you're okay, and you move on. So
webcasting.
All of those things can just come into your awareness and make a big difference on how you perceive stress, what your attitude towards stress, how you relate to it, and how you respond to it. And we know that fight or flight or even freeze is a major category as it relates to stress. So all of those things are things that we've talked about in the last 3 weeks. And so we're just going to take a deep breath and kind of dive into it to move forward. So like I mentioned, is all stress bad? And no, like, our attitude really can play a role in how we respond to stress. So we know that some stress is very helpful. It's definitely very motivating. It helps us meet our goals. It keeps us alert and engaged. And so we need some stress. So we call, like, negative stress distress, and positive stress is eustress. So like if you're doing something that you're very, very passionate about, and you have a lot of fun doing it, but you do have a deadline, that can still conjure up some stress, and that's a good thing. And then, like, like I mentioned, it keeps us safe from danger. And so really learning about our body system and our mind and our body is connected. We can think of it as our stress response. It really engages that sympathetic nervous system and prepares us to fight or flight. So our mind and our body is connected. So through those nerve chemicals and hormones, allows our body to respond and prepare to face that threat. And that's a very good thing. So oftentimes I hear this time and time again where, oh, you're just stressed. It doesn't have anything to do with the body, but we have a lot of nerve endings, even in our gut, that can affect how we respond to stress. And so it's not uncommon to feel that stress and then feel like you feel like you're nauseous and you can't eat and you feel that kind of flutter in your gut. Very, very common because of all those nerve endings in our nervous system all throughout our body. So then we look at this tiger, walking toward us, and our body stress response does not know the difference between a real or perceived threat to survival, like I had mentioned earlier. So we'll have that same reaction in our sympathetic nervous system to something that is happening right now that we have to stay safe. Toward later, if we're even thinking about it, that those same hormones happen. Like your body is thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in danger again. I need to be safe. And it could be just a thought. So very, very powerful, our stress response. So how we react to stress is also so very important. And we talked a lot about this. And so we're really looking at that space in between a stressor and our response to it. And in that space offers us a lot of opportunity to think about it, think about what that stressor means to us, and then also think about and prepare what is the best way to deal with this and to respond. And allowing yourself that space gives you time and offers you a lot of empowerment and growth and then you'll be able to deal with it in a way that is very positive. So we go through that 2 arrows, and what that is that first arrow that hits you can cause a lot of pain. That is actually the stressor itself. And then that second arrow can actually cause more pain, and that is how you respond to it. So how you respond can actually cause so much pain that it can last much longer than the actual stressor itself. So that's definitely such an important point, is to have that awareness. How do you react to stress? And, how do you react to this type of stress and this type of stress? And we're all really, really different on that, but it's really important to take some time and think about that. And then we have this zebra who is physically losing his stripes because he's stressed, or he thinks he's stressed. And that's often a common thing where we have some patients coming into the emergency room, and they might have a feeling like they're having a heart attack, or they have a stomach ache that's really bad, and 4 to 5 times it's stress related. We do all the testing on their heart and all types of tests on their gut, and then we ask what's going on, and then they're just mentioning all this, the stress that they're under, and then actually their symptoms get worse because we know that the brain and the body are intertwined, they're connected, and our nervous system is very, very sensitive to stress. And so there's also a really good book on, it's called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, and it's because really humans are the only mammal who can't really shake off stress, and we kind of continue to hold on to it, and it festers until we do get a maybe even a physical illness, and we'll talk about that. So when we're looking at this, what zebras do is, if there's a lion coming after them, they get alerted, and then they fight or flight. So usually they run away, and then as soon as they're safe and out of danger, their whole body just shakes. They shake all that cortisol off, and then they go about their day. that would be nice if as humans we could do that, but we're a little bit more complicated than that. But we can learn different techniques to help us shake it off and keep going, and but it takes a lot of practice. And so today we'll be going through some of these different techniques that you can use. So what are some effects of stress? Headaches, upset stomach, back pain, trouble sleeping. We can actually have a weakened immune system where we're more susceptible to getting sick, like colds or flu or any sickness. Moodiness, anxiety, depression can also play a key role, because when we're stressed, hormones are released, and those hormones and those chemicals can get off balanced, and that is a complete physiological response to stress, and that's okay. That's a very normal thing that can happen. A variety of health problems, relationship problems, and then worsening of current health conditions. If you have any autoimmune issues or any current health conditions, it can actually get worse with stress. So let's take a moment and really kind of think about this as stress, and how it can actually get worse and worse until we're totally burnt out. So we're going to go through each one of these, and I just want you to take a moment and reflect on yourself, or maybe somebody who's really close to you who you've seen go through some of these things, or maybe you're kind of on that verge right now. And so we'll talk about not only this, but then as we move on, like, what can you do if you're stressed or burnt out? So in the first column here, it talks about stress. In the second column, it's burnout. So let's look at that first row. So we have stress, and stress is usually characterized by overengagement. So we're stressed out. We feel like we have so much to do. We keep adding more things on. We're like, yep, I'm on. I'm going to keep doing this. And we're feeling like we're really successful, but we're feeling it. We're feeling stressed, and we have so much to do. And then burnout really is characterized by disengagement. So even though you have so much to do, you're just not engaged in those. You kind of had it. You have that list of things to do, but you're just done. You're not even going to work on them. And then the next row is for stress. Emotions seem to be overreactive. So even if you normally would react or respond to a stressor kind of calmly and kind of know what to say, when you're feeling really stressed, you can actually be overreactive without even realizing, like, that cortisol is released, and you feel like you need to do something right now, and you might overreact to it. While burnout, those emotions are blunted. Like something that you'd usually even react to in a different way when you're calm, you don't even react to it anymore. And you're way past that stress of overreacting. It's like nothing matters. You have no emotions at all. And then with stress, it produces like an urgency and hyperactive, activity. So, just like that overengagement, you're kind of picking on different things, and you're saying yes to more things than you normally would. And this needs to get done now, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And so you can kind of tell, whoa, I'm stressed. And usually something that gets put on your plate, you're like, okay, you plan it out. But when you're stressed, you're like, oh, it's just another thing on my plate. I need to get this done right now. And you're feeling kind of hyper about it. And burnout then produces helplessness and hopelessness. One more thing on your plate, you just feel like there's no one to help. There's nothing that can help, and there's no hope. And and so that's a difference there. With stress, you have a loss of energy. So you're feeling like, all this energy that I had, I just don't have the energy to have that urgency anymore, or that over engagement. And usually I'm able to get all these things done, but now I just lost that energy to do it. And it's even making me more urgent, or more hyper, or more over engaged. And it feels like you can never get ahead. And then with burnout, you have a loss of motivation, ideals, hope, and you're really feeling it. It's starting to really change some of your biochemistry. And then with stress, it can lead to anxiety disorders. And anxiety does have a lot to do with a chemical reaction. And then with burnout, it can lead to detachment and depression. And then we're getting a little deeper into the weeds with, our changes in chemistry. So we know that with stress and that cortisol release, there's a lot of things that happen, not only with chemicals, but also with our hormones. And then, if that keeps happening, it does change how well we are able to modulate our chemicals in our synapses in our brain, and then that can lead to chemical changes. And so we're detached, we're feeling really depressed, and we can have depression without being clinically depressed. It can be like if I can just get through this, I'm burnt out, and then we kind of get over that hump and have some self-care tools or something changes that makes it easy. Then our chemicals and our hormones can kind of get re-regulate and get back, and then and sometimes they don't. We can end up with clinical depression, and that's okay. There are definitely there's a lot more known about that and a lot more things that can help. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be medication. Sometimes it is, full on self-care, it's nutrition, it's exercise, it's a lot of different things that can sometimes help and boost those chemicals back. Sometimes it can't. Sometimes we do need some help with some medication, and that's okay. With stress, the primary damage is physical. So we do know that we have a lot of things that can happen as it relates to, that cortisol is released. We do know that cortisol almost acts like a porcupine when it goes through blood vessels, and it can literally rip lesions in our blood vessels, and that causes inflammation. And we know inflammation is a precursor to chronic conditions. And so that's stress. And then with burnout, the primary damage is emotional. Like I mentioned, we do have those chemical changes, and then we're closer to depression, and then clinical depression. And with stress, it may kill you prematurely because of those physical changes and that inflammation and those chronic conditions. And with burnout, it may make life seem like it's not worth living. So just kind of taking in a deep breath right now and kind of thinking about where you are, where you're falling, in between the stress and burnout. But the ultimate goal is awareness to go, oh, you know what, I remember a time where I was definitely burnt out, and this is what helped me get out of that burnout. Or if you're like, ooh, I think I really am getting into that burnout phase. What can I do about that? And we'll definitely talk about that. And so this helps with stress and burnout, what we'll be talking about next. So what can we do? So there's, we've talked about this in the past, and we'll kind of get a little bit deeper into it, but mindfulness and meditation. So mindfulness and meditation, they're the two of the healthiest and most effective stress busting strategies, because what they do is we're looking at different areas of the brain and the body, and how they can help with stress management. And if we can really manage our stress through self-care, then we can prevent and manage burnout as well. And so as we're looking at mindfulness, that's just the objective awareness and observation of the present moment. It's nothing more than that. So it can help really reduce anxiety by focusing on the present moment, not the past or the future. Both can create anxiety. We do know, kind of looking in the past, tends to create a little bit more depression, and the future tends to create more anxiety. So we're looking at both of those. So if we can have a chemical reaction in our body due to a stressful situation, then we can have a chemical reaction in our body due to mindfulness and meditation as well. It's very, very powerful. And that meditation is just a practice of turning your attention to a single point of focus. And it depends on you as a person of where you like to start and what has worked for you. And it's a practice, which means it might not work today or tomorrow, but next week, as you're practicing, you might feel a kind of a switch that, this is working. I'm going to keep doing this, and that's why it's called a practice. So one of the most important things when you're first starting and when you're really stressed out or in that burnout is to create a safe space for yourself, one that you can really feel comfortable and confident in practicing these tools. Because the more you can build this safe space for yourself, the more you'll be able to utilize it in any space. So if you're in a really chaotic moment, you can bring yourself back to the safe space that you basically created in your mind now. And you can take some deep breaths even in the midst of chaos. So your safe space as you're practicing should be comfortable for you, non-judgmental, the people around you, or in your own mind, and really internalize these practices and see what's working for you and what isn't, and then allow you to focus, and then allow you to practice as we go through the ones that we go to today. But as you practice, even the ones that you feel that aren't working for you, continue to practice. We know all of these are really rooted in evidence-based, and I'll give you a few of them. So what might work for you today might be something that you want to take on, and then try those things that aren't really working for you. Continue to practice those. Very powerful. So today we're going to go through some stress management techniques like deep breathing, guided muscle relaxation, guided imagery. We even call that like take a minute vacation, but I'll actually be reading a script to you that will guide you through an image. And our imagination is so very powerful. We can imagine, just by thinking of if a thought can make that cortisol release, we are imagining it and it's in our mind and we're thinking about it like it just happened in this second, and we have a physical reaction to that. So our minds are so very powerful. And then a moving breath, mindful movement. We'll do some simple moves today, and then talk about mindful walking break and a few more. So we're going to start with just the breathing to relax. And so what I want you to do is put your feet flat on the floor and just kind of settle into your space, because the purpose of breathing is getting that oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. And we do know that breathing has an enormous effect on our body's ability to self-regulate. And if we can learn to control our breathing, it can help you improve your ability to relax and help control your body's response to stress. Because what we're really looking at is that vagal nerve that runs right through your gut. And so that is why when we take that deep breath, that vagal nerve is directly related and connected to that parasympathetic nervous system. And so with deep breathing, you want to have correct posture. So when your belly rises, when we take a deep breath, when your belly rises, and then we fill your belly with air, fill your lungs with air, maybe your shoulders come up to allow that space in your lungs to expand so you have more oxygen in. And then as you exhale, shoulders come back and down, and then continue breathing. You can place your hand between your sternum and your belly button to feel that belly rise. And you start with some deep cleansing breathing. And then if you can, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth if you're comfortable. So let's do that a couple of times. So if you'd like to place your hand kind of between your sternum and your belly button, take a deep breath in through your nose, shoulders come up. And then as you exhale, shoulders back and down, chin in slightly. If you close your eyes, if you'd like to, and just breathe. Breathe in and out. If you'd like to exhale through pursed lips, that can help slow the breath down on the out breath, and that can help you get a little bit more oxygenated. Just deep breath and out. Good. Okay. So as you're relaxing and breathing and in your comfortable position, I'm going to give you a guided muscle relaxation. And you can close your eyes if you'd like, or keep them open. And if they're open, just a soft gaze in front of you. And then we're continuing to breathe as you were, just deep cleansing breath. Bring that awareness and focus to your breath. So maybe the temperature of the air as it enters your nose, temperature of the air as it leaves. And just breathe. And so now, as you're breathing, I'm going to mention, as you breathe in, I'm going to mention an area of your body to really focus all that breath on. Then as you exhale, I'm going to say some words that as you're focusing on those muscles, that hopefully can calm and relax those muscles. So let's get into a comfortable position, taking that deep breath, and then exhale. So then on your next deep breath in, I want you to focus on all the muscles around your eyes and jaw and head and breathe right into those muscles. Then as you exhale, I want you to just imagine and feel those muscles around your eyes and jaw and head. It's warm and relaxed and a little bit heavy. On your next deep breath in, think of all the muscles in your neck and shoulders and breathe right into them. Then as you exhale, just feel all those muscles in your neck and shoulders, warm and relaxed and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about all the muscles in your arms and hands and fingers and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, all those muscles in your arms and hands and fingers, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about your whole torso, your chest and your belly and your back and your upper back, and breathe right into it. And as you exhale, just feel all those muscles in your torso, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about your hips and your pelvis and your bottom and your thighs and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel those muscles sinking a little deeper into the chair beneath you, warm, relaxed, a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about all the muscles in your legs and your knees, all the way down to your ankles, and breathe right into them. And as you exhale, just feel all those muscles in your legs sinking a little deeper, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Your next deep breath in, think about all the muscles in your feet, your toes, and the spaces between your toes, and breathe right into them. Then as you exhale, just feel all those muscles in your feet and toes and spaces between your toes, warm, relaxed, and a little bit heavy. Now in your next deep breath in, think of your whole body and just breathe right into it, all the way from head to toe. Then as you exhale, just feel your whole body sinking a little deeper into your chair, warm, relaxed, a little bit heavy. Now just do your own body scan and just notice any tension in any muscle that is tight. Just breathe right into that. Then as you exhale, just breathe out that tension. Just notice, do a quick body scan with your breath. If you notice any thoughts coming in, no need to judge them. Just kind of bring yourself back to the breath, bring yourself back to the body. Any sensations, just breathe in and exhale out. Good, and take a couple deep breaths and exhale fully. And on your last exhale, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing yourself back to the room, opening your eyes if they're closed, and just notice how you're feeling. You could feel really relaxed and feel tired. And this is something that you can do like right as you're trying to go to sleep, especially if you have a lot of thoughts coming up in your mind and you're kind of away from that moment of sleeping. This will really help you connect that mind back to the body. You're really focused on it. You might realize that you're trying to sleep like a board and you're really stiff, and this really helps you just relax into the bed. So this is a way, if you have a hard time falling asleep, or if you wake up and have a hard time falling back to sleep, this is something that if you think about it, you can try it on your own. So that's the guided muscle relaxation. Now, guided imagery is kind of the same thing. You're relaxed, you're doing some deep breathing. You can be focused on your body and what's happening within. But I'm actually going to read a script to you, and it's called a walk through the country. And so you can close your eyes if you'd like, or you can focus on this picture in front of you. And the ultimate goal for this is just giving yourself some time to quiet your mind and your body. It's just allowing yourself to settle comfortably wherever you are right now. And you're breathing in deeply. Just remember breathing in slowly, expanding your abdomen, filling your lungs. Then you can use pursed lips to exhale through your mouth, slowly and completely. And just allow your body to sink heavily into the surface beneath you. Once again, breathe in through your nose, all the way down into your abdomen. And then breathe out slowly through pursed lips, letting go of tension, letting go of anything that's on your mind right now. Just allow yourself to be present in this moment. Now just imagine yourself walking along this peaceful old country road. The sun is gently warming your back, and the birds are singing, and the air is calm and fragrant. With no need to hurry, you notice your walking is relaxed and easy. As you walk along in this way, taking in your surrounding, you come across an old gate. It looks inviting, and you decide to take the path through the gate. The gate creaks as you open it and go through. And you find yourself in an old, overgrown garden, flowers growing where they've seated themselves, vines climbing over fallen trees, soft green wild grasses, and shade trees. And you notice yourself breathing deeply, smelling the flowers, listening to the birds and insects, feeling a gentle, cool breeze against your skin. And all of your senses are alive and responding to this peaceful time and place. And when you're ready to move on, you leisurely follow the path out behind the garden, eventually coming to a more wooded area. And as you enter this area, your eyes find the trees and plant life restful. The sunlight is filtered through the leaves, and the air feels mild and a little cooler. You savor the fragrance of trees and earth, and you gradually become aware of the sound of a nearby stream. You pause and you allow yourself to take in the sights and sounds, breathing in the cool and fragrant air several times. And with each breath, you notice how refreshed you are feeling. And then continuing along this path, you come to a stream. It's clear and clean as it flows and tumbles over rocks and some fallen logs. And you follow the path easily along the creek for a way. And after a while, you come out to a sunlit clearing where you discover a small waterfall emptying into a quiet pool of water. You find a comfortable place to sit, a perfect niche where you can feel completely relaxed. And you feel good as you allow yourself to just enjoy the warmth and solitude of this peaceful place. Then after a while, you become aware that it's time to return. You arise and walk back down the path in a relaxed and comfortable way through the cool and fragrant trees, out into the sun-drenched, overgrown garden, and one last smell of the flowers, and out of the creaky gate. And you leave this country retreat for now and return down the road. You notice you feel calm and rested, and you feel grateful, and remind yourself that you can visit this special place whenever you wish to take in some time to refresh yourself and renew your energy. And just picture yourself for a moment carrying this experience of calm and refreshment with you into ordinary activities of your life. And when you are ready, you take one more deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes, and come back to the space. And just notice how you're feeling. Just notice how powerful your mind was to actually kind of feel those senses of actually being maybe on this road, sitting by that little waterfall. And just notice. And now some of your homework would be the next time you go for a walk, especially because it's getting a little bit nicer outside, even if it's from point A to B, like from your car into work or from your car into a store, just notice that you're walking. Notice how your body feels. Notice your body moving. Feel how your foot hits the ground and how your arms move, and just walk and know you're walking. It can be very powerful moment to be in that moment, in that space. Good. So I know you're probably all falling asleep, so we're going to do some movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my chair back, and I'm going to sit on the edge of my chair. And we're going to do a few different moves. So the first one is called cat and cow. You can definitely do this on all fours. You've probably seen it or heard about it, but you can also do it in a chair. If you want to do it on the floor, feel free. You can do this with your legs crisscrossed if you'd like. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is just put my hands right on my knees and sit up straight, shoulders up, back and down, chin in. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to push my chest out, my chin up and back a little bit. And then I'm going to exhale back, inhale forward like a cow, and exhale back like a cat. Just notice this is a really good exercise to do for the spine. Really good to be able to really fill those lungs with oxygen and going at your own pace. We do one more and then meet me back to neutral. So the next one is just shoulder shrugs. And so this is a really good one to just notice how tense you are. So taking in a deep breath, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, and exhaling, kind of forcing, not forcing too hard, but just kind of pushing your shoulders down just a little bit. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And sometimes people might notice, if we're doing this in person, sometimes I'll have people do this and their shoulders are already up here. So that's just good awareness to say, oh, how far can my shoulders go down? And how much tension am I holding in my shoulders? So do a couple more. Good breath in. And just notice how that feels. Okay, I'm going to do a few more. I don't have pictures for these. That's okay. So what I want you to do is put your your fingers in front of your shoulders and your thumb behind your shoulder. And then all I'm going to do is kind of like a washing machine. One elbow comes in front, one elbow comes behind. And then just matching my breath, however it feels comfortable. We're just going to turn side to side, kind of like an agitating top load washing machine. Only do what you can do. If it's hard for you to keep or put your arms up this high, and just put them as high as you can go. Good. Do one more each side. And meet me in the middle. In the front stretch, all that is you can either use a chair right by you, or if you're on the floor, you're just reaching down to one foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my right foot in front of me because I'm sitting on a chair, and with my heel on the ground and my toes are pointed up, and then my left knee is bent. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk my hand down to my knee and then even further down to my toe, as far as you can go. Exhale fully and just feel that stretch. You can put your foot on a chair next to you, and it's kind of like a hurdler stretch if you've ever been in track. And you're just getting a good stretch in your lower back, and you're also getting a good stretch in your hamstring, in your shin, depending on how far you go. And just feel that stretch and just breathe. Good. And then slowly walk your hand up and switch sides. So my left foot is on a chair or right in front of me. And then I'm just going to walk my hand down towards the knee, to as far as I can go, maybe even to the ankle, and just breathe, holding that stretch. And slowly walk your hand back up to center. And remember, doing these stretches a few times, holding what feels really good. You might feel that you need more stretches for your lower back, but whatever feels good. The next one is just the basic shoulder rolls. So what I'm going to do is put my shoulders forward, up, back, and down. And do that a few times. Then I'm going to switch it. So I'm going to go back, up, forward, and down. I'm going to roll them forward just 3 times. And just notice. And the next one is half moon neck rolls or neck turns. And so we can do this either 2 different ways, depending on your neck movement. So the half moon is you look like I'm going to look to one side and just feel that stretch. And then I'm going to come down. My chin kind of traces all the way to the middle of my chest. And I'm going to come back to the other side. Come back down to my chest. And then back to the other side. Down to the chest. And back to the side. Do that a couple more times, or just neck turns if that's too painful. You just look to one side and look to the other side. You can, and if you feel like you need to hold at a certain point, if one side is kind of painful, but it feels good as a stretch, go ahead and hold that. Make sure you do the other side. Meet me in the middle. You can even do ear to shoulder, ear to other shoulder. So, of course, make sure that you're breathing nicely as well. The next one, arms are down by your side, and you're just going to take a deep breath, and your arms are coming up at your sides, kind of like a big circle. Like you're drawing a big circle around your body. And reach up and then bring them back down, and we'll do that one more time. Deep breath in. And exhale, come down. Good, that helps. And then the last one is a standing shoulder and neck relaxation. So this is a really, really good one to do. It's really good for overall muscle relaxation and tension. So you stand up and you basically reach up like we just were, And then all you do is you just fold over from the waist and you go as far down as you can reach. And when you're hanging there, what you want to do is just relax your shoulders as much as you can and relax that neck. Just allow you to have some space between all your vertebrae in your neck. And then just imagine just like a waterfall, all the tension and stress just leaves your shoulder right to the tips of your fingertips. It's very, very powerful. And as you're just hanging there, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your neck, you're relaxed, you're breathing, and you're just feeling that all that tension just leave your body. So very, very powerful for relaxation. Take one more deep breath here. And slowly come up vertebrae by vertebrae as you're leaning forward, and come to standing and then come back to sitting. Good. And just notice how you feel. So we have some additional ways to reduce stress. And the first one is laughing. Like, we definitely do not laugh enough, especially as adults. So really getting in those laughs. I know that this used to be a video, but I'm unable to play it now. It's just of a little boy laughing. And so a good way to, like, YouTube has several funny videos of babies laughing, and you can't help but smile and start laughing yourself. There's laughing yoga. There's, just whatever makes you laugh. Just recommend getting into that and laughing as much. We call laughing like the massage for the internal organs. It's that powerful for not only the mind, but also for the body. Cross items off your to-do list. So there's two folds. So we've kind of talked about this last week where, sometimes you might have a full to-do list. There might be some things that you really don't have to do. Get them off there, cross them off. That sometimes that feels good. Give yourself permission to say, you know what, I don't need to do these items, and it's okay. And then, or do some items and cross those off. We know that that's can be very powerful for the brain to be able to get some things done. Spend some time with loved ones, be with nature, like getting some vitamin N, vitamin D with the sun. We know that, getting outside and away from electronics and it can be very healing for the body. Like, put your feet on the grass or in the dirt, very powerful. Get into some hobbies that you really like, especially when, so we know that hobbies really make people who they are in all of their uniqueness. And so if there's a hobby that you've kind of gotten away from, think about it and think about how can you kind of implement that into your day to really feel like yourself. Get enough sleep. So sleep is medicine. We know that's when our body rests, and that's when our hormones and our chemicals get all balanced out. So sleep hygiene is very, very important. Eating well is also very important. So food is medicine. Getting whole, real foods, kind of staying away from those inflammatory foods, staying away from those processed foods with ingredients that your body really doesn't know what to do with. So eating really well, that can help balance out hormones and can help you stress less as well. Journal. Very, very powerful tool. So if you have something on your mind that's circulating and it feels like that's all you're thinking about, you can't sleep because you're thinking about it, get it down on paper, pen to paper, get all those details out. Your brain will thank you. Your brain will go, oh, good. I can go back to those details if I want to. They're all right there. Some amazing stuff can happen. Practice gratitude. We know that can offer a lot of brain chemistry changes to just be really grateful for what you have. Exercise is medicine as well. There's a lot of research and a lot of, you probably felt it yourself, where if you go out, with that cortisol, that fight or flight, that it's meant for you to do something. So if you go out for a quick walk, if you're stressed, that cortisol has somewhere to go, and it feels like the whole world has been lifted off your shoulders by the time you get back. And then keep organized. We do know that like a lot of clutter, things that you really don't want around, kind of makes the brain cluttered and and makes it feel more stressful in your space. So what do you do to de-stress? And we talked a lot about, building those pathways. Every time you do something that helps you de-stress, you're building those pathways away from that lower part of our brain up to our higher executive functioning part of your brain. So definitely feel free to put that in the chat or unmute your line if you want to share, like, how do you de-stress? What's the best way for you to reduce stress, or what do you do if you're feeling like you're getting burnt out? Do you do something specific? So as you're doing that, I'll kind of continue here. So the most important thing is you're human. You are not alone. I recommend whenever I talk to like a teacher group or a business group that you are each other's best advocates. You know what the workplace is like. You have similar jobs. You're in that together. So getting the support from each other is so very powerful. Getting that support from your loved ones, support from friends, use the resources that are available in your community. There's just so many more. It's okay to ask for help, and it's amazing how just reaching out, asking for help, getting some help can make such a big difference to live your best life. And here are just a few resources. So mindfulness-based stress reduction through Penny George Institute of Health and Healing. We have our Change to Chill program, which has some videos on there. So if you go to changetochill.org and go to the video link, there's some meditation videos that you can be walked through. We have health-powered kids and health-powered families. So if you have younger kids, there's a lot of information on stress management through there. Alina Health has their Healthy Set Go blog. And then we also have a new program called helloforhealth.org, and that's social connections. And that is really cool because it gives you some tools to work on yourself to be able to socially connect with people better. And so something to just check out. And mental health and wellness resources. So talking to a counselor, talking to a therapist, always a really good resource. And then health coaching, I've seen so many different life coaching opportunities pop up. So anything that you feel comfortable with, definitely reach out, because you're not alone. So we have some things in the chat. Okay. So yeah, so someone said watch sitcoms or do yoga. Yeah, sitcoms, especially if they can be funny, or you can even kind of just take your mind off things and just delve into those. Organization, daily, weekly calendars up to date. Yeah, see all those to-dos on paper, and then it's right there. You don't have to think about it or remember. That's great. Peaceful moments. When you feel stressed, go for walks, read, relax, listen to soft music. Yeah, and wonderful. Yeah, those are all excellent. And we know that music is medicine as well. And everything you all just mentioned is wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing.